Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike Harivam Tatsat Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Denatarinam Paramanandamadavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupasandhopayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम् स्वरूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय प्रभुपाद की जय गौर भक्तवृंद की जय नाम श्रेष्ठं मनमपि सचि पुत्रम् अत्र स्वरूपम् रूपं तस्याग्रजं गुरु पुरीं मथुरीं गोष्ठवाणीं राधा कुंडम गिरिवरम हो राधिका माधवासं प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतिता कृपया श्री गुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि. Beautiful prayer offered by Raghunath Das Goswami from the spiritual master and sadhu, how one can receive all the benedictions, all the gifts, so many gifts. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Creative Impetus, in chapter 11, Jadabharata instructs King Rahugana, in verse number 12. क्षेत्रज्ञ एता मनसो विभूतेर्जीवस्य माया रचितस्य नित्या अविर्हिता क्वापि तिरोहिताश्च शुद्धो विचस्ते हि अविशुद्धकर्तु क्षेत्रज्ञा एता मनसो विभूतिर्जीवस्य माया रजतस्य नित्या आविर्हिता क्वापि तिरोहिताश्च शुद्धो विचस्ते हि अविशुद्धकर्तु. This is fifth canto, Creative Impetus, chapter 11, Jadabharata Ancient Avagana, verse number 12. Speaking about how the living entity is conditioned by the three modes of material nature, from the glass body, subtle body, sankalpa, vikalpa, accepting, rejecting, what you should do, what you should not do. Jadabharata is instructing Rahugana on this platform. Here specifically is speaking about this mind. Last few verses in this verse also, how the mind is been contaminated. Mind is always engaged in the material sphere. Kshetrajna. There are two types of Kshetrajna has been explained here. Living entity is also Kshetrajna, but the Supreme Lord is also Kshetrajna. So Kshetrajna eta manaso vibhotir maya rajatasya nitya avirhita kvapitrohitasya suddho vichaste hi Avisuddha Karto. Avisuddha means impure thoughts, impure ideas, impure activities. Translation word to word. Kshetragna, Agna, Gna, the individual soul. Agna means ignorance, Gna means knowledge. Kshetragna, the individual soul, Eta, all these, Manasa of the mind, Vibhuti, different activities. Jivasya of the living entity, Maya Rachitasya, created with external material energy. So that is what most of the time we are operating under. Maya Rachitasya. Mind is hovering on the material plane, not based on the sadhu, shastra, and guru. It is not enlightened with transcendental knowledge either. So then naturally, mind is going with the illured by the external energy and Maya Rachitasya, created by the external material energy. Nitya, from time immemorial. Avirihita, sometimes manifested, Kwapi somewhere, Tirohitasya, and not manifested. Suddha, purified, Vichaste, sees this. He certainly, Abhisuddha, unpurified, Kartu of the doer. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai. The individual soul barefoot of Krishna consciousness has many ideas. The barefoot of Krishna consciousness has many ideas and activities created in the mind by the external energy. They have been existing from time immemorial. Sometimes they are manifest in the wakening state and in the dream state. But during the deep sleep, unconsciousness or trance, there are three stages: wakefulness, sleep, deep sleep. Sushupti, deep sleep is unconscious when person goes into coma. So that is the deep sleep status. Dream state is in the night time. Subtle body is in works, gross body is sleeping on the bed. Um, the subtle body is going through the dreams, mind, intelligence, ego is in the work. So sometimes we are in the happy dream, sometimes in the worst dreams. It creates fearful situations. Suddenly we wake up in the dream from the dream, middle of night. So this is all. So the dreaming stage. Then the daytime is a awakening stage. So gross body is trying to enjoy separately from the Lord. And during the daytime, in the night time, subtle body is trying to enjoy separately from the Lord. Both are creating more and more hallucinations, more and more what do you call impressions in the heart, in the mind. Chitta is being contaminated. That is the point. They disappear. A person who is liberated in this life, Jivan Mukta, can see all these things vividly. As soon as we see Jivan Mukta, we should immediately remember one verse which Prabhupada also quoting later on. Famous verse of Jiva Goswami on the verse of Diksha. Divyad Kshapayati Jnanam Diksha. It's initiation process is called Diksha. So there also in that particular verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this verse is quoted. यह अस्य हरेर दास्य कर्मणा मनसा गिरा जीवन मुक्त से उच्यते यह अस्य हरेर दास्य one way to transcend this contaminated consciousness is to two ways to look at it. In this class, we'll cover the first one. The second category we'll cover in the next class, the temple class at 6:30. Both are connected to the same. This verse and the next topic is also very much connected to the same point. Yahasya Harer Dasi. One should engage in Karmana Manasa Gira. Bodily platform, gross body, subtle body. So and the intelligence, everything should be utilized. So karmana manasagira. Karma means activities using the body, manasa, mind, and then mental platform, intellectual platform, and speech, gira. So all these things should be dovetailed or engaged in the service of the Lord. That is the point. Please repeat. The individual soul, barefoot of Krishna consciousness, has many ideas and activities created in the mind by the external energy because we are attracted by the external energy. So that's why it is creating for us. We are enamored and attracted by it. They have been existing from time immemorial. We have been demigod, we have been different species of life as human beings, also higher planet, lower planet, middle planet, we are running around so many lifetimes. Sometimes they are manifest in the awakening state and in the dream state, but during deep sleep, unconsciousness or trance, they disappear. A person who is liberated in this life, Jivan Mukta, can see all these things vividly uh, because he can understand through many different avenues. He can understand what's going on. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Kshetragnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. There are two kinds of kshetragna. Kshetra means place, the field of activity. This body is field, just like agricultural field. Now the summer is coming, so everybody is tilling the land using the machines or using their bulls or different living entities to till the land, fertilize the land, make it even balanced and putting enough energy in it. Because as you grow things, then sometimes energy has been taken away, taken out from the land. Land is no more fertile enough. Then you have to till it. You have to put some additional soil, additional elements. Chemicals, whatnot, to strengthen it. Then you grow again. So this goes on two, three times. Sometimes only one crop they use. So that is the same thing here. Field of activity. Body is, means it is active because soul is there. So, but it should be engaged in the properly. Otherwise, it creates chaos. It creates a problem. So there are two kinds of Kshetrajna, living beings. One is the individual living being, that is the spirit soul, Atma, or Brahman, Jivatma. And the other one is the supreme living being. This is the Paramatma, Param Brahma, Vibhu, Atma, Anu. We are the smallest. We are called not the creator, not the enjoyer. Our position is cooperator, facilitator, cooperator. That is our position. So not the creator, not the enjoyer, but we have taken that position right now. So that is where the problem is. We should cooperate with the will of the Lord and the Guru. So that's what we are supposed to do. And the other is the supreme being. The ordinary living being knows about his body to some extent, but the Supreme Paramatma knows the condition of all bodies. Yes, because he knows his Sarvakshetra is there in every living, and we can only know what is going on in our body to some extent. That also limited extent. So and the individual living being is localized. We are localized. We are only within ourselves, the soul and the supreme. So that soul, the spirit soul, is covered with gross body, subtle body. So that's why the tailor is stitching the hands, legs to our body. He is taking the measurement from our physical body, and because physical body has hands and legs, that's why he is stitching and giving, and we are wearing. So this outside dress is like the gross body, inside this body. This dress is we have our physical body, that is like the subtle cover. You can understand. So there are two coverings here. We have the shirt, pant, whatever we are wearing outside is one covering, and the physical body, but inside there is one more. That is the actual real thing. Is covered with these two things. So that's a gross part. That means the actual spirit soul has the form. That is the fundamental understanding we need to have. For that, we need to have a proper support system. That is very much required to come to that. So that is the point here. And Supreme Paramatma is all pervading. She is also localized even within each and every living entity is called Paramatma. It's the localized portion. And then is the supreme personality of God. He is everywhere, all over the place, everywhere. Is all pervading. Is Brahman, so is all pervading, and that unmanifested state, or we can is manifested, but we can't see. It's everywhere is there in every atom. Anantarastu Paramanu Chayantarastam. It is also localized, is also there as super soul in each and every living entity. It's in the same next to the spirit soul. In the heart, Sarvascha Aham Vishnu. In this sloka, the word Kshetragna refers to an ordinary living being, not the supreme living being. This ordinary living being is of two kinds, Nitya Baddha, Nitya Mukta. Nitya Baddha means eternal, that's why the verse says immemorial. So for that, to come out of this Nitya Baddha to Nitya Siddha, Nitya Mukta means liberated. Nitya Siddha means perfected soul. To come to that, right now we are in, day after day we are being conditioned by the three modes. Day after day we are suffering anxiety, little happiness we are getting, but this is going on. To come out of that, then we need to have a bodily support, physical support, we need to have emotional support, need to have intellectual support, um, emotional support. All the support system has to be there. So then only one can actually, just like we have a car, this machine, this is machine, this gross body is machine. So as we can take the car example, so the car has to be maintained regularly. So and it has its own. If it doesn't, then it can fall down. The car is not made. Regular maintenance is there, and sometimes people do at home. They know how to change the oil. Then they may do it. Some small things they can do it. But the big thing, they have to, the whole engine has to be replaced to change some part, water pump or something. You can't do that at home. You have to give it to the vendor dealer and replace it. They can do it. They have the proper facilities and equipment and manpower and everything. They can do it. We can do it. So this support system is needed for physical body. We need this body has to be maintained. So it needs support. Nobody is alone. If you look at anywhere, any society, everyone has a dog society is there, cat society is there, diabetic society is there. Everyone has a IT society, business society. Everyone has society. Nobody is. So we have these clubs also everywhere. Go to the airport, there's a club. Everywhere there's a club. Outside, golf club. So all these are, why is it there? If it is no support system, we are all individual. We can just stay without anybody else support. We think we can enjoy separately, but in reality, you can't enjoy separately. You need other person. You need a family member at least, or you need a friend. Or even if you go alone, you go somewhere and then you need to have the platform system. You need other people. All these things, somebody else has done it. Even then, even if somebody is going alone to go somewhere and enjoy. Even then, there are people who are putting this. That is, body needs always somebody else support. It cannot sustain by itself. It is only a foolish idea. So because this is the problem is the weakness. This is called weakness of the heart. Why we are suffering? Why person is going through gross suffering and subtle body suffering throughout lifetimes? Is because of the weakness of the heart. It is called Hridaya Daurbalyam in the Bhagavad Gita second chapter 2.7. Arjuna himself has come to that understanding. He has given. He thought he was intelligent. He was smart. He doesn't need anybody's support. He can make his own decisions, has given various reasons, but then finally has understood, no, I can't go on like this. I'm not able to come out of this anxiety suffering. I need to put a full stop to it. The only way I can do is I have to surrender now to the Lord. He is my spiritual, he is not a friend. He was talking like a friend, so Lord also was talking like a friend. He didn't speak, he didn't give me an instruction. So that's a bodily support is needed. Mm. That means we need the like-minded devotees, like-minded people who are honest, who are genuine, who can guide us. Is not simply pampering us. Is simply want some benefit from out of us. No, we don't need that kind of association. We need the association who can actually tell us and correct us. So increase our actual the happiness, real happiness. So they are ready to help us in the positive regard. That bodily support, as well as the sadhu does in both of these scenarios. The first scenario which we are explaining, the bodily support, mental support, and emotional support. In all these scenario, we need the sadhu. Real sadhu is the in all these areas he can give all the support. Bodily support, sadhu is there to take care of the needs of the body. She's always like you have seen, Mr. Prabhupada is always serving. So always trying to assist others, even the bodily comforts also. That everything is there. Why things are why the prasadam is not enough cooked, or why meal it is only why one two items. Why not enough items? This much dal, this much rice, this much paneer. Prabhupada is to instruct in Mayapur, many other places. So at least minimum main one meal should be there in the morning, and in the evening there should be a snack. At least one meal has to be strong. That means rice, rotis, minimum two sabjis. It has to be properly fortified. Mm, Proper ingredient. It should be cooked in ideal in ghee, if not healthy ingredients. So the body needs, no, I can be aloof from it. No, it doesn't help. So if you don't have strength, then strength from the bodily support in terms of the food habit, then it's very difficult. And sadhu is there to make sure to enlighten us, to take care of us, to how much to take and how much not to take. More is also a problem sometimes. It should be balanced. So that the car is always maintained. So regular maintenance is there every year at least twice minimum generally is there, and sometimes bigger maintenance. You have to fix it. You have to spend more time. One who's careful, then he can maintain the body carefully. Otherwise, the body will fall apart. Car will not function anymore. So same thing will happen with this body also. So that's a gross body. Bodily support has to be there, and the mental support, mind, intelligence, ego. So mind needs also superior support. Otherwise, mind will always go on this. Dhyayato visham pumsangaste shupajayat. That is what is causing. It's always meditating on what is the next destination, what is the next enjoyment. And today, this month, this week is over. Now, next weekend coming up. What activities? And this is planning is going on. So, but by the sadhu's mercy, then actually we can transform those activities. That kind of planning, material planning, individual planning, independent planning, all these things can be purified and can be given actually transcendental planning, spiritual planning. So then this will help. It will actually strengthen. Otherwise, this weakness will go on. Weakness will go on. There is no way we can come out of the weakness. Not possible. So just like car will collapse, many times you will see in the those who are not maintaining properly. Many times you will see regularly while going to office, while going in highway, we'll see that car is stopped in the middle. Most of the time, this is the problem. Not maintained properly. Once in a while, something happens that can be understandable, but most of the times it is not maintained properly. That also is the same thing with us. We are not maintaining properly the bodily support and mind support, gross body, subtle body support. That's why it is yeah, asya harer dasya karmana manasa gira. As for the physical activities has to be supported by so other persons, especially the sadhus. They can enlighten us, and then mind also. The intelligence has to be sharpened. So mind has to come to transcend these modes. Means intelligence has to be sharpened very much. And that is the point here as well. Nitya Buddhas can become liberated by controlling the mind. So that is the main point. The mind is above this, above the gross body platform, subtle body. If the mind and intelligence is purified, then we naturally maintain, we know exactly what to follow because it's constant guidance is given. Intelligence is sharp, then no matter what you will do without fail. Otherwise, we will always become weak. Day after day, we will become weak. So when we become old, it is finished. Then there is no way. At that time, it's too late. So that is the point. The Nitya Buddhas can become liberated by controlling the mind because the cause of conditional life is the mind. Yes. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling mind is the cause. So that's why mind is telling Indriyani Parani Yahu Indriya Param Manaha Manasastu Para Buddhe. About the mind is intelligence. Ego has become false ego now. Instead of servant of God, we have become servant of senses. So yes, that's why. So that's why we can become agile because of the actual energy. That's why in the yesterday we read from the 8th canto 12th chapter. Lord Shiva is being bewildered by the Mohini Murti. The chapter also is very clear. Actually, Lord Shiva cannot be agitated by including his own wife. Kamadev, nobody could do it. But Lord Vishnu wants to perform this pastime. He already won, Lord Shiva. You are asking me to show this beautiful form, but I am warning you. If you become agitated, don't blame me later. So Lord also is there. It's mentioned. Lord Vishnu is also meditating, contemplating. Mm, How can I agitate Lord Shiva? So he thought about it and displayed his beautiful form and beautiful activities, pastime. Then he became agitated. It is only to show. Otherwise, he is not agitated. Lord Vishnu wants to show the whole world that so anybody can be agitated in this world. So except the Mahajanas, they cannot be agitated. In this, it is to show the whole world this pastime has been done. So otherwise, Lord Shiva is not agitated. Uh, that means we have to be under the support system, which is by the sadhu, shastra, guru, and the Lord. All these four has to be there. As well as sadhu is the main support for the physical needs and also the emotional needs. That means we have to be in the physical association of sadhus also. Then only we can actually realize. Then only we can stop this material thoughts, material planning, independent planning, and we will come to transcendental planning. We can adjust life, what is to be done, what is not to be done. Otherwise, there is no way. There is no way one can actually change the course of activity, change the planning, change the thought process, change the vision, how we see things, how we see the world, how we see things, everything in relation with the Lord and Shastra and Guru. It's not possible. Only when the sadhu enters in our life, when we take the sadhu's association seriously, then only every aspect of life can be changed. Till that point, we don't take it seriously. And that till that point, we'll go through this weakness. This weakness cannot go away. Mm. We cannot become joyful. We cannot become thrilled. Not possible. Even on the platform of bhakti also. Whatever, doesn't matter how many years we are at. We have to be supported by the sadhus association regularly. Yes. Shastra and the Lord is there to assist, but the sadhu is the main, the core and center and left and right. Uh, if that is missed, anybody is missing, anybody is not taking that seriously, they can only be weak. Uh, every time they will become only weak. This is the only strength which can actually bring the person conditioned soul to Nitya Siddha. Look at anybody, the Pandavas, Prahlad Maharaj, all the Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, you look at all the examples. Sadhu is the only one who can give strength others. Otherwise, there is no possibility to become enlightened, to come out of the miseries, come out of the difficulties. Not possible because the mind is always tend to look at things independently. Only sadhu can check that. Prasangam ajaram pasam atmano kavayo vidu saeva sadhu sukrutu. Only sadhu. Just like holy name it is mentioned, only. Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatirana. There is no other way other than chanting the holy name. There is no deliverance, any other method. Same way, only sadhu is the one repeatedly Shastra is teaching throughout. That's why Krishna is before explaining any further. After fourth chapter, he has to explain transcendental knowledge. That spiritual mastery has been repeatedly, Lord is telling. Without that, it's only mental speculation will happen. Contemplation of material object constantly will happen. ध्यायतो विषाम पुंसार या संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुख and it will cause suffering and anxiety in this life and previous lives it we have done already enough. So that's why this life also we are suffering. On the previous actions and reactions is there. Concomitant actions, reactions are there. So that's this we have to realize now, so that our future can be brighter than what we have now. If you realize it and act accordingly, we take the proper support system and sadhus association. Then what will happen is written here. And the mind is trained, the soul is not under the mind's control. When the mind is trained, so that this training is required. Then who's there? Sadhu can only train. Because if you read the book, we all gone to college, yeah. So that means if the book is enough, everybody has books, everybody has Bhagavad Gita at home. But why do we go to college? There also, because you need other person to explain. Whether you talk about AI, you talk about anything in this world, you need somebody else to explain. That is easier. Directly on job, if somebody is doing coding, you sit with him. If we explain it, it becomes easy. You yourself have to figure out, then it becomes so difficult to do. Same thing with the bhakti, also same thing. To figure out what is what, how to do, what to do, when to do. This also, when sadhu is there in our life, we are under the guidance, we are following, we are taking seriously, then actually, then we can understand things, we can adjust, then we become strengthened, more and more strengthened, more and more joyful, more and more thrilled. Life becomes a thrill, joyful every day. Otherwise, not possible. So that's the physical support, mental support, emotional support, intellectual support is very much needed. 6:32. To go back. The next class is Jivan Mukta knows how he has become conditioned. Therefore, he tries to purify himself, return home back to Godhead. That is important. Please join the other class. I will continue the same discussion further. Thank you very much. Krishna Madas. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Sorry for the delay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Harivam Tatsat. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 4. Sati quits her body and verse number 20. Let us look at the verse. Karma pravrittim cha nivrittim api artham vede viviccha ubhaya lingam asritam virodhitad yugapa padaika kartari dvayam tata brahmani karma nachati. Pay attention to the pravritti nivritti, enjoying and renouncing, bhoga tyaga. Different ways throughout Bhagavad Gita, Sri Prabhupada is explaining in his lectures. Karma pravrityam cha nivrityam api artham vede vivicya ubhayalingam asritam virodhi tad yuga padaika kartari dvayam tata brahmani karma nachati. Karma pravrityam cha nivrityam api artham. Your mother Sati, Lord Shiva's wife consort, she is speaking this verse. Vede vivicya ubhayalingam asritam virodhi tad yuga padaika kartari. Yoga, the way it is written, I think it's yoga. Let's see the word to word. Dvayam tada brahmani karma nachati. Word to word. Karma activities, pravrittam, attached to the material enjoyment. Cha and nivrittam, materially and detached. Api, certainly. Artham, true. Veda in the Vedas, Vivicha, distinguished. Ubhayalingam, symptoms of both. Asritam, directed, shelter. Virodhi, contradictory. Tat, that. Yoga, pada, eka, kartari, both activities in one person. Dvayam, two. Tatat, so. Brahmani, in one who is transcendentally situated. Karma activities na ruchati are neglected. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Sri Prabhupada Vijay. In the Vedas, there are directions for two kinds of activities. Activities for those who are attached to the material enjoyment, and the activities for those who are materially detached. In consideration of these two kinds of activities, there are two kinds of people who have different symptoms. If one wants to see two kinds of activities in one person, that is contradictory. But both kinds of activities may be neglected by a person who is transcendentally situated. I repeat. In Vedas, there are directions for two kinds of activities. Activities for those who are attached to the material enjoyment, and activities for those who are materially detached. In consideration of these two kinds of activities, there are two kinds of people who have different symptoms. If one wants to see two kinds of activities in one person, that is contradictory. But both kinds of activities may be neglected by a person who is transcendentally situated. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. The Vedic activities are so designed that the conditioned soul who has come to enjoy the material world may do so under the direction, so that at the end he becomes detached from such material enjoyment and is eligible to enter into the transcendental position. So, as in the previous class we discussed, Nitya Baddha to Nitya Siddha, conditioned state or contaminated consciousness to the perfected consciousness. So, the four different social orders, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, gradually train a person to come to the platform of transcendental life. Even within this, the multiple stages are also explained, especially in Vanaprastha and Sannyas. In the seventh canto, chapter, I think 11 to 15, you will see these different four categories within the Vanaprastha and Sannyas is explained as well. The activities and drugs of a Grihastha or a householder are different from those of a sannyasi, open in the one in the renounced order of life. It is impossible for one person to adopt both orders. A sannyasi cannot act like a householder, nor can a householder act like a sannyasi. So that's a Lord is giving in the Bhagavad Gita two times. Swadharma. Swadharma anustita paradharma bhayavaha. One should engage in his own activities in what he is capable of. We try to think of look at somebody and then do somebody else's activity, even though he's not in that platform, he's not situated. So whether it's devotional service or ordinary material activities, both will create chaos. So that is the point as being laid out here. But above these two kinds of persons, so that's why it requires discipline. Earlier class I was discussing about the This is all the problem is weakness. If you look at this, read this whole chapter, Prabhupada most of the times stressing this weakness, womanly weakness in this case. So that implies, so going back to the Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Bhagavad Gita. So Hridaya Daurbalyam 2.7, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains Anartha Nivritti, four different categories: Swarup Vibrama, Tattva Vibrama, Sadhya Sadhana Vibrama. So all these things are two ways to look at. One is support system is needed, physical support, mental support, intellectual support, which is sadhu is the topmost in that. Shastra, Sadhu, Guru, and the Lord is there, but the Sadhu is in the center. So now the second thing for the weakness, to come out of the weakness, the support system is needed. Sadhu should be in the center of our life, day in, day out, regularly. So all the support we need. And the second one is because otherwise we can't become sincere. What to becoming increasingly sincere? If you want to be supported, maintained by the Lord, our life adjusted by the Lord, then one has to become increasingly sincere. Not just sincere, increasingly sincere. You will see this word in 10th canto, last verse. It's very clearly written. Prabhupada is writing in the translation as well, increasingly sincere. Only when sadhu is there in the life, then we can become increasingly sincere. Otherwise, there is no way. Because discipline is the second problem is the discipline. Support system, another one is discipline. When the discipline is there, then discipline is there in so many different ways. Physical discipline of the body and the mind's discipline, the intelligent discipline has to be there. Otherwise, we can regularly fail. Day to day wise. Why we are weak, why we are not able to, even though Prabhupada is telling repeatedly why we are failing, is because of this. One is support system is not taken seriously, another one is the discipline is not there. Is because of this, both weakness is there. Regularly weakness is there. So that is the point we have to note here as well. Otherwise, Prabhupada is talking about Shiva is in Samadhi. What stage when this is happened? Lord Shiva has instructed to Sati what is going to happen. Warned, and she was also afraid. He has given the warning. When the Brahmanas utters that one has to be careful what he will utter. Lord Shiva has given the warning, but she didn't somehow or other because the weakness is there. She went off to his father's place. That is the whole this chapter. So this is a important instruction for us how one should be guided by these both physical support, mental support, emotional support, and then physical discipline, mental discipline. So all these things we'll discuss further. Let us read further the purport. We'll come to it. We'll refer the verses. Everything has to be referred through the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then look at what Prabhupada has to say. One who engages in material activities, one who has renounced material activities, there is a person who is transcendental to both. Lord Shiva is in the transcendental position because, as stated before, he is always absorbed in the thought of Lord Vasudeva within himself. This is in the fourth canto, chapter 3, verse number 28 or something. Sattvam Visuddham Vasudeva Sabditam. So he is situated in a pure transcendent, he is always meditating on the Lord Vishnu, as well as Lord Rama. That is his Ishtadeva, that's what he is meditating on. So that's why he was absorbed and he didn't get up. When everybody else got up, Daksha was angry. Daksha was envious. So that's what Sati was telling in this whole chapter. You are so impudent, you're envious. Who is actually, that's why sadhu, why sadhu's association we have to take. Titiksha, Karunika, Suhruda, Sarvade, Ajata, Sitra, Santa, Sadhu, Bhoshana. Sadhu's qualities are is very compassionate, very tolerant, despite doing so many mistakes. How many times, Prabhupada, even though one was fell down from any position, even as a grahastha, whatnot, sannyasi become fell down fully, or somebody has given up, not even chanting 16 rounds, engaged in still, Prabhupada reinstated them, Prabhupada gave them, you travel with me, how much he was coming. This is sadhu. You will never reject anybody. Lord may reject, but sadhu is there to always accept somebody, somehow or other engage them. So that's why we need sadhu to be there in our life. Then only will be protected in all cases, even material benefits also. If we take proper association of the sadhu, then you will get material benefits also. Then only we can be thrilled. Then only we can be joyful. Otherwise, every day we have to try and we will become sorrow and anxiety, frustration, suffering. Yes. Otherwise, there is no possibility. Shastra is very clear about it. So That is very important to have sadhu in our life, very seriously. Not a joke, it is a very serious business. Prabhupada himself was there with Krishna Radhanath Maharaj explained in his memories. He was so much captivated, everybody was captivated. They were oblivious to everybody else in Vrindavan. Both were conversing, discussing Krishna Katha, laughing, and so many things, respect, with great respect, transcendental faith. Krishna, Akinjan Krishnadas Baba, Prabhupada. This is what everybody, even the enlightened sadhus, who Paramahamsa stated that always sadhus association is there. At every step of the way, when we become perfected, also they even then sadhus are required. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came back from Gaya, also you'll see the same thing. So, Kota Krishna is in great separation. He was asking all these also, Sriman Pandit Srivas. Everybody, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? He's not going everywhere outside the world. We are not devotees, searching where is Krishna. No, he's discussing with the devotees. Even the Lord is not alone. Lord is always with him. But we think I can be alone. I can practice alone. I don't need anybody's support. Then we will always be weak. So we neglect. We don't take it seriously. So that's why it's very important. That is the point we have to understand here on this particular purport. Transcendental position of Lord Shiva is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. What verses Prabhupada is speaking? Same thing. Samadhi, how can we come to? Because when Lord Shiva is in Samadhi, these verses are describing. Prabhupada has to quote from Bhagavad, fundamental knowledge. And this 51 to 53, if you refer, you'll see the Karmajam Buddhi Yuktahi. Then Sruti Viprati Achala Buddhi. How will you come to Achala Buddhi? Then only Arjuna is asking, how one can, you are talking about this, keep on talking 10 verses or so, Buddhi, Buddhi. Who is this person? How does he act? How does he sit? How does he walk? How does who is this self-realized soul? Whose Buddhi is so fully fixed down? How is this in Samadhi? How do I know? What are the symptoms? To point 50, 55 onwards, Lord is explained till 72. So that is very important. How is Lord Shiva is in Samadhi? How will you come to Samadhi? That is an important question one has to ask. Um, it is stated here that when one fully engages in transcendental service of the Lord by performing activities without fruitive results, how can you do that? That's why one needs discipline. Other than the support system, sadhu is there, but even a discipline also sadhu is needed, even for the second category also. Because why? The bodily discipline. So if you follow Srila Prabhupada, you will do always exercise. You are in the office, wherever you will go for walk. Wherever you are, you could be busy. We are not busy than Prabhupada. Are we? We can claim that I'm the busier than Prabhupada? No. So he's hardly sleeping. 1.5 hours, 2 hours, or sometimes he's not even sleeping. But he can go for morning walk because he has understood when the body is not supported properly, is not maintained properly, how can I engage in service of the Lord or the deity or the Guru? He can do it. Then how can we think that we can do it without it? So that means we have to maintain this body. We have to take the instruction of sadhu. Yukta ahara viharasya yukta chetasu karmasu. Discipline is very much required. How much we can consume, how much we can eat, how much we should sleep. This discipline has to be there first. Bodily discipline. This to be disciplined by Prabhupada. If we follow properly, then even the body will be disciplined. We will act accordingly to discipline this body. Then we can do proper sadhana. When this body is not disciplined properly, will worried or oversleep, then we can't chant properly, we can't hear properly, we don't take association sadhu properly, we are always weak, we are not strong, we are not joyful, we are not thrilled. With this reason only. The support system is not there in life properly, and neither discipline is not there. So the body is, and the mental discipline, Shastra is very clear. Mantra, mantra discipline. When we are chanting, when we are taking mantra, mind is disciplined. When the mantra is not chanted, the mind is not disciplined. Manatra ite iti mantra. It is mentioned clearly. A discipline of the body is needed. Discipline of the mind, mental platform, mind is needed. A discipline of the intelligence is also needed. Yes. The last verse, look at the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Last angle, how can you control it? Only way you can control is purify your intelligence. Then only one can become increasingly serious. Increasingly serious. Yes. This is mentioned. Manya Anusavam. So, Edita Mukunda. 10th chapter, 90th, 10th canto, 90th chapter, 90, last verse. What amazing purport Prabhupada is writing. So, one should seriously, increasingly serious in engaging no, Srimat Sravana Kirtana Smarana. One should engage in this hearing, chanting, meditating. How will you meditate? On what basis can you meditate? When the discipline is not, then how will you meditate? Our constant contemplation is where I'm going to invest, which job I'm going to take, and how much money I'm going to get, how much bank balance I have, what activities, how can I enhance my enjoyment. This only is going on this mind's meditation. Mind's meditation is not going on what I have to take for Guru, how much I have to uh, take anxiety for Guru, how much I have to anxiety for the Lord, for Lord service, Guru service. So many things is instructing me to repeatedly, scrutinizingly read. In Nectar devotion classes, if you look at only 30 plus, everywhere Prabhupada repeatedly is telling, devotees all should wake up at 4 a.m. Repeatedly is telling, for reason only, because this is requires discipline. One cannot become serious otherwise. And forget about becoming increasingly serious. That is even far thing. When we don't have proper support system, when we don't have proper discipline. For the gross body, mental, intellectual discipline has to be there in all this. Only when the sadhus association taken seriously, we are checked by the sadhu, then we will become disciplined in life and we will become also the physically, bodily, everywhere support system is there. Naturally, just like the car is maintained, this body will be maintained, the subtle body will be maintained, and the spirit soul will be maintained by the Lord. When Lord sees that how much one is serious to follow the sadhu, Sri Prabhupada, Guru, and other sadhus, that is why you will see that Mandhu Mohi Savadhan. That is why it is very much required. When that Savadhan on the sadhu is not there, everything collapses. Chanting collapses, hearing collapses, service collapses, everything. Everything comes to standstill. But if you take it, then one cannot, the death cannot sway this living entity. This particular jiva cannot sway. Death cannot come. Death cannot do anything like Prahlad Maharaj. Because he has taken Narada Muni as a serious association. He thought he has understood, digested it, assimilated it, he has fixed up. He is fully disciplined. There is not he is not going to move an inch without sadhu's mercy, sadhu's instruction, sadhu's guidance. No possibility. So that's where Lord has to come and protect. There is no possibility. So that is the main instruction from Narsingh Chaturdasi. And we are approaching Jagannath Ratha Yatra. It's even more serious there also. We'll see. The Lord Jagannath is increasingly becoming intoxicated by the gopis, is entering into that mood. And he wants to give us all of us on the same platform, bring us into that platform. But provided we take seriously Gundicha Marjan, provided what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting and showing how to do this, how to come to that platform. So it's not easy. So practice has to be there. Sadhu has to be there. Lord Jagannath didn't perform alone. He performed in the association of others. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't perform Kundijamarjan alone either. Like the sadhus, devotees always. He was never alone. So these things has to be understood. So further, let us read. One is elevated to transcendental position. At that time, he has no obligation to follow the Vedic injunctions. This is Madhavendra Puri's example. Sandhyavan, all these things, please forgive me. So please allow me to meditate on the Lord is completely roof. Are different rules and regulations of Veda when one is above the direction of Vedic ritualistic injunctions for attaining different allurement is fully absorbed in transcendental thought, which means thought of the Supreme Personality of God in devotion service. One is in this position called Buddhi Yoga or Samadhi ecstasy. Yes, one has to be. That sadhu also has to be big up. He has to have a fire. He has to have fire. He is always disciplined by sadhu, shastra, and guru. Not so-called sadhu. We are not interested in so-called sadhu. No. They are Antaranga Bhakt. They are deeply attached and follow. Yes. The sadhus, day in, day out, they are practicing. They don't waste time. Avarta kalatam, namagana sadaruchi, priti tavasti stale. And that is the symptom of sadhu. We take those association of sadhus repeatedly and hear from them, ask them questions submissively. Yes. We have so many sadhus coming. Our Aladhar Maharaj went, he just came. Now we are getting our Gaurang Prabhu is there. He is going to come in 2 weeks or so to give class. Gaurang Darshan Prabhu is coming. One by one, so we get in summer so many. Ratha Yatra also will meet. We have to take these sadhus seriously because you see, look at their practice, look at their results, what they have done, how they can do. We have to observe their life. understand their activities. How can they do it? That means they have put the sadhu in the right hand sector and like left. So then only one can do. Otherwise, it's not possible. It's not possible at all. So that then automatically will be disciplined by the sadhu. Shastra is also disciplining, but that discipline will not work so much. When sadhu discipline, that works very much. Lord is also disciplining throughout Bhagavad Gita. Shastra is disciplining. Everybody else may discipline, but the sadhu actually can discipline us because he is doing without of law, out of it. If you also lovingly reciprocate, lovingly associate, lovingly acquire, then we will be disciplined. Then we can practice. Then we can feel happy and joyful. Otherwise, it is not possible. Lord Shiva is in that category. If we take his association, his instruction, then one can come. Just like as he is in Samadhi, we will also come. Any Mahajanas or Srila Prabhupada, pure devotee or spiritual man, we can also come in the same platform. When we don't take that seriously, then we become weak. Every day we become weak. Day after day we become more and more weak. We neglect, we complain, we criticize this devotee, that devotee, he has done this, he has doing this, that. So many things. Oh, so many things we have to do. Forget about what others are doing. So we have to take care of these things. What Prabhupada is instructing here for all of us. We concentrate internally what's wrong with us, why we are weak. Then we'll not bother about so much what's going on here, there, always worried about. We'll be worried about first why I'm not doing what the Guru is telling, why I'm not doing what Prabhupada is telling. We'll be worried about always that first. That is the first business. Then rest of the business is later business. At that time, he has no obligation to follow. Where we are. For attaining the different allurement and is fully absorbed in transcendental thought, which means thought of the Supreme Personality in devotion. So one is in this position called Buddhi Yoga Samadhi ecstasy. For a person who has attained this stage, neither the Vedic activities for realizing material enjoyment nor those of renunciation are applicable because it's not in this material platform. Only 4 minutes. Now look at the references because we have to refer. This is the verse which Prabhupada is quoting. Is mentioned. Lord Shiva in Samadhi. This is the verse. 4.3.23. Sattvam Visuddham Vasudeva Sabditam. But we don't have time. Please read this purport very clearly. Is referring to pure devotion service. Lord Shiva is in that category. Suddha Sattva. Who can use this 108 Ashtottara we chant Premadvani? We have to know everything. Why we chant Premadvani? What it means. Devam Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtottara Sata Srimat. What it means. We have to know. If you read purport of Prabhupada, then we'll know everything. Every question will be answered. If we don't read, then we'll have all questions. Yes, that is the problem. Look at this. This is the verse which Prabhupada has quoted as well. Shruti viprabhamate yada stasya nichala samadho achala buddhi. Buddhi has to be purified. That's why discipline has to be there. Physical discipline, bodily discipline, in terms of the walking, exercise, not overeating, not oversleeping. It has to be properly regulated by sadhu because sadhu, if we hear regularly, we read, we are in the association of Sri Prabhupada and the spiritual master and other sadhus who are in line, then we'll be disciplined because we can't do without it. They're constantly telling, then we have to do it. If we are not, then we will not be able to do it. Even bodily also regulation also we can't do it. That is the problem. So then naturally we can do the second thing also. Mind, chanting and all these things cannot be done. Mental platform also, you cannot come to this stage. Achala buddhi cannot happen. So that is the point. Easier. When your mind is no longer disturbed with flowery language, when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained divine consciousness. So this samadhi is not possible otherwise. If we don't put sadhu right and left and center, there is a point. Now we'll refer to the famous verse which we. So this is 10:9 last line. Look at the last line. Karmani karma kasanani yudhuttamasya sruyad amusya padayor anuvrittim vicham. Look at the line. One who desires to faithfully serve his lotus feet should hear the activities he performs in each of these incarnate activities that suitably imitate those of the forms he assumes. Hearing narrations of these pastimes destroys the reactions to fruitive work. Pravritti nivritti. Pravritti is fruitive work. Nivritti means renouncing things. Neither we can become bogi nor we can become tyagi. We are sevi. We are in between. Why the sadhana bhakti stage, beginning stage is like that. Sometimes we want to enjoy, sometimes we want to renounce things. When it is too difficult or too much problem, I will give a family or I will go to this one, that one. We want to do different things. But the ideal devotee will not do whatever he likes. Now, this is the main verse. Please pay attention. Martyasta taya anusavam edi taya mukunda Srimat Katha Sravana Kirtana Chintyayati. Contemplation. तद्धाम दुस्तर कृतांत जव अपवर्गम ग्रामाद वनम क्षितिभुजो अपि यूर यदर्था. So one is pay attention to the translation. By regularly hearing, purport also very important. By regularly hearing, chanting, meditating, only when the sadhu is in center, then only we can do this. Otherwise, this is also not possible. Otherwise, ordinarily. On the beautiful topics of Lord Mukunda with ever increasing, not sincere. Sincerity itself is a great difficulty. When sadhu is not properly followed, we can't become sincere. That is what. Even if we more take seriously, then we become increasingly sincere. And if we take it more seriously, then ever increasingly sincere. That means it goes on and on. Then only we can become actually happy. Then only this weakness will go away. No more fear of anything in this world. We're not worried about who said what, who's complaining, who's criticizing. We're not worried about. We have no time. Goal of life is Krishna Prema. It's a lofty thing. We have no time to worry about who's saying what. We are worried about what Prabhupada has to say, what Guru has to say, so what Sadhu has to say. This is what our worry is. When we understand Shastra statements, Prabhupada statement, a mortal being will attain the divine kingdom of the Lord, where the inviolable power of death holds no sway. That's what when we take the Sadhu, real Sadhu's association, is each and every word. Arana kori ho mane asa, no second thought. Exactly what Prabhupada says, that's what we follow. For this purpose, many persons, including great kings, abandoned their Priyavata. Maharaj Priyavata is one of the examples. And look at the purport, beautiful purport. Pay attention. This process of devotion begins with hearing topics about Supreme Lord. When one has heard these topics properly, that is regularly for ourselves, then what we have to do next? He can then proceed to chant them for others' benefit. That means not only we should fortify ourselves, discipline should be there, but we should also give it to others. Then we will be strengthened from the sadhu, but also by giving it to others, even more strengthened, even more ever increasingly sincere we will become. Otherwise, not possible. So, because that becomes dear to the, then the Lord has to give more strength, more intelligence, and He has to balance. He has to adjust our life because we are doing what He is dear to Him. If we are not doing what is dear to Him, why He has to be obligated to respond and adjust our life? Yeah. Why is obligated? He's not obligated. So that's what Prabhupada is also not obligated to respond and adjust our life. That is the point. For others, we not reflect on the significance. Reflect. This contemplation, mind's contemplation should go on this point. What Prabhupada has to say, what Lord has to say. Reflect on their significance. This leads to faithful adherence. See that faithful adherence to the principles of this is what discipline means. Devotions, which culminates in absolute faith in Lord Krishna. Then what will happen? Such perfect faith gives the one right to enter into the Lord's intimate service. Sadhu's intimate service, then Lord's intimate service. In due course of time, return to one's eternal spiritual life in one of the Lord's personal domains. See what a beautiful. Where it started, the hearing, just the hearing of from the Lord, Shastra, but Sadhu. Then what will happen? All these steps will go one by one. We'll go back, come back in this life only. Provided if we follow seriously. Sadhu is in the center. That sadhu is in line with Prabhupada. Then this can happen. If you're not aligned, if you're not paying attention, you're always neglecting the sadhu's association, not want to follow, not adherent to the principle, then nothing can happen. We can't become disciplined in any way, shape, or form, neither bodily, nor mentally, not intellectually. We can't become disciplined. So that because we are missing the sadhu. That is the point. And quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. If Lord Gopal mercifully, or Mukunda Datta Prabhu quotes this verse regularly, Mat Gavir api Gopala Svikuriya Kripaya Yadi Tadaivasam Payah Pitva Ruchyesh Tat Priya Jana. If Lord Gopal mercifully accepts the cause of my word, then he is dear devotees. Vishwanath Chakravarti is dear devotees. Sadhu is the heart. Because he is so compassionate, he is so tolerant. Titiksha, Karunika, Suhrudo is always compassionate, all living. Sometimes because how much can he care for? He is only alone. How much he can he care for? He tried to. Prabhupada can care for everyone, the whole world. Ordinary sadhu can care for maybe 10 people, 5 people, 4 people, 20 people. At one time, he can only do certain things. Prabhupada is broad minded, he can do many things. We are so limited. So in that way, but we can try to do, at least help few others, at least try to intimate with few, if not everybody. You can't become intimate. Prabhupada can become intimate with everybody, but but affectionate to all. in different ways. It's very important. And then only we can actually, Lord has to see this quality in us. Dear devotees may enjoy the pleasure of drinking their milk, the nectar produced by hearing them. So this is the point we have to understand in these verses how important it is. This was also very important. As devotees, we neither reject nor accept enjoyment separately from the Lord. Both are to be balanced. And this sadhu can only balance. Very important point. 11:28. Pay attention. We will not have time. We'll just read translation and stop it. Is somehow or the other by good fortune. How will you become good fortune? Again, sadhu only. Prabhupada and spiritual master and sadhu. These three has to be there. Not Prabhupada is not enough because we're not at that level. Simply accepting Prabhupada and we follow it. No, we need not only spiritual. That also is not enough because we're not at that level either. Guru tells immediately, are we accepting? Are we doing it right away, same day, without second thought, immediately? Shastra, the Prabhupada writes, immediately accepting Guru's words. We're not on that platform either. So that's why these sadhus who are aligned, they can help to come to that platform. If we don't take that seriously, no, I'm only worried about Guru and Prabhupada, I'm not worried about sadhus. Then we can come. We can come to that platform. So by good fortune, then that good fortune is given by the sadhus. One develops faith in hearing and chanting my glory. Such a person being neither disgusted with nor very much attached to material life. No, because everything is coming from the Lord. So you should engage properly. Balance should achieve perfection through the path of loving devotion to me. So that is the point. Hare Krishna. This weakness, as we are discussing in this earlier, in this verse 4:3:23, 4:4:20, and then previous class. So the weakness is been described by Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's called Hridaya Daurbalyam. Four categories of anarthas. In that, one of the anartha is Hridaya Daurbalyam. It contains, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, Hridaya Daurbalyam means it has Tucha Sakti, the first one. Attachment to things unrelated to Krishna and his service. Small petty things. Tucha means petty. The second category is Kutinati, duplicity. Not simplicity like Duryodhana, going everywhere and praising them. He wants to be sit on the throne. You went to Dronacharya, you are great, you should help me. Then he went to Vaishnavada, he did the same thing, but he has enviousness and cunningness in his heart. So that is Kutinati. This is also one of the weaknesses. Third is Matsarya, envy, coveting the good fortune of others. Envying others' property, others' wealth, others' reputation, others' advancement. All this comes under this matsarya. This is also weakness. And the fourth one is pratishta asa, desire for name and fame. This is also weakness. So this brings us down from the advancement, brings us down from the joyfulness, happiness. And then there are three other anarthas which Bhansha Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained, which is also very important to know. Tattva Vibrama, misconception of the truth. We accept many things as absolute truth, but it is not. So in that category, we have Swatattva Vibrama, which means misconception of one's true self. Who we are we? Are we the Jiva? What kind of Jiva? We are conditioned, Nitya Baddha, eternally conditioned for so long. But our identity is in relation with Krishna, Jiva Sarupa Nitya Krishna Das. That is our actual real truth in personal relationship with the Lord as a servant, and He is the master. So anything else we have, that is misconception. Sa Tattva Vibram, and then Para Tattva Vibram. Who is the Lord? Misconception about the Supreme Lord. Is He impersonal? Is He personal? Who is He? Where everything came from? From nothing comes from zero or nothing. So Lord is a person. Everybody, the sun god is a person, moon god is a person. Everybody, whatever you see, planets in the night, you see the stars. All these stars are planets. There are people in each of these planets, and there is a personality who is head of each of these planets. They are headed. Sun god is Sun, Vivaswan. Moon god is Chandra. His name is there. So all these are posed, and then there is personality behind it. Indra is called Purandara for this in this particular one mantra. So misconception about the Supreme, and that is second one in Tattva Vibrama. And then third one is Sadhya Sadhana Vibrama. That is also a problem. Sadhya means so what is the ultimate goal? Krishna Prema. And sadhana, what is the process to attain it? both not understanding, having misconception about it, what is the process and how to attain it. Both are a problem. This is all weakness, misconception of the goal of life and the means to attain it. And the fourth one is Virodhi Vishaya Vibrama, Brahma, misconception of that which is antithetical, and that means is opposite to this process of absolute truth, understanding, attaining it. So that is under category of Tattva Brahma, under the category of Hridaya Dvarganu, and then second, third category is Asatrishna, desire for illusory needs, illusory ends. In that two category, Bhukti, enjoyment, trying to enjoy separately from the Lord. Worldly enjoyment in the form of many luxury, wealth, and so on, jewelry, you name it. Or seeking heavenly enjoyment. People will do so many different kind of charity and whatnot to enjoy here and enjoy in the higher planet. Not really doing it for the Lord or following the Shastra and Sadhu and Guru. Just they don't want to enjoy in here and the next. But these are all temporary. You can enjoy only so long as long as credits are depleted, bank balance is there, money is there, you'll spend. Once it is spent, it's gone. And so these are temporary credits. So that's what ordinary charity can only give temporary credits for some time in this life or the next life and in this planet or higher planet. Once that is depleted again, Kshine Punyam Matyalokam Visanti. So that's the heavenly enjoyment. Is also as a weakness, Sasatrishna. It doesn't give the permanent happiness. Second one is Siddhi, supernatural powers. People are looking for Zanima, Mahima, becoming smaller than smallest, or producing some magic. So Mahima becoming greater than greatest, and lighter than lighter, Lagima, or going to sunrise, entering the sun planet, Prapti, acquiring whatever one desires, Prakamya, experiencing any enjoyable things in this world or next, Rishitva, manipulating others. People do that using the various tantric things, and they manipulate others. Vasitva becoming unimpeded by the three modes. So they can do abnormal things, which is generally not possible by the living entity. These are all, but this is still material. Kama vasitva, able to acquire anything from anywhere, the highest possible limit. So, and then the last one is mukti, liberation from birth, death. So this also can be Sahajya Mukti, merging into Brahmana effulgence. So this is the third category. And fourth category of this weakness is aparadha offenses. Offenses, Nam Aparad, offenses against the holy name, and the Seva Aparad, offenses made during service and worship. Seva Aparad. And then Vaishnava offenses against Vaishnavas. And then Dham Aparad, offenses against the holy Dham. And Jiva Aparad, offenses against other souls, whether devotee or not devotee. All these things has to be understood. And then criticism of the sadhus, those are also important, which will cause a great problem in feeling the happiness. Criticizing the sadhu for his fault of the circumstance of his birth. He may be coming from a different kind of family and dynasty or country. Jati dosh. Another one is criticizing sadhu for an accidental or unintentional or unknowing fault. Kadachit dosh. Bhaktivinoda always. Then third one, Nasta Praya Dosh, criticizing Sadhu for the fault that are almost rectified. He has already rectified. Maybe there may be teeny here and there, but the criticizing Sadhu for that. And the fourth category, Purva Dosh, criticizing Sadhu for a fault that occurred prior to his surrendering. Before coming to surrender, he might have, because this is in the beginning stage. But he's already done it. He has advanced. He has taken initiation, surrendered, and is not doing any more of those mistakes, but still criticizing for that. These are the four forms of criticism one should ideally avoid it, so that one can come out of the weakness and he can become joyful. And then we can see that also this, because when the weakness is there, we can't follow the sadhu properly. So that's why we need to associate with sadhu and here take more and more association. The gradually become strengthened by his association, and we can understand his instruction also. But it requires lots of prayers and submission. As one example, I'll give, as Giriraj Maharaj shares his own pastime with Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada is asking, but it took quite some time to understand exactly what Prabhupada wanted him to do. So he's sharing. After the Calcutta Pandal, we traveled to New Delhi for the first Delhi Pandal program. And from Delhi, I went to Madras and arranged for public program for Sri Prabhupada. Um, there. And from Madras, I returned to Calcutta and Mayapur for the first Gaur Purnima festival and cornerstone laying ceremony. At that time, in Mayapur, Prabhupada was living in a straw hut near the entrance of the property. When I entered his room, he was in very grave mood. With a choked voice, he said, Krishna is giving us everything now. Everything is mercy of Krishna. He had tears in his eyes. Soon Sri Prabhupada called me in his room and again, after offering obeisances on the cow dung floor, I sat on a grass mat at Sri Prabhupada's lotus feet. And Sri Prabhupada explained that when the British were ruling India, they divided the country in three provinces: Bombay, Madras, Calcutta, each ruled by one governor. Which one do you want? Prabhupada asked. Prabhupada's words left me speechless. I never made any independent decision about my service. I told Sri Prabhupada that I would do whatever he wanted me to do. But Prabhupada did not accept my answer. So he wanted the devotee to decide. He's testing and he wants to know, what he wants to do. Whether he wants to serve in Madras, Calcutta, or Mayapur. Uh, he wanted me to decide. As I asked if I could have time to think about it and be agreed. Because this is for setting the future also. Prabhupada sometimes whatever he asks, many times it is futuristic also. And so that in future we know how to make decisions, how to go about things, how to do service, everything. And here you can say important point. I thought and thought, but we could not decide. This Giriraj Maharaj. The preaching in Calcutta was good, but Madras also had potential. And I already had contacts in both places. Then again, Bombay was the biggest field. Actually, all I really wanted to do was to please Prabhupada. But how? After Mayapur, we came to Calcutta. There, I would stand behind before the beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govinda and pray to them for guidance. Soon, I realized that Sri Prabhupada was forcing me to come to a higher level of Krishna consciousness. Obey the order of Sri Prabhupada, spiritual master required some basic submission. But to know the desire of spiritual master without being told required much more spiritual advancement. So that these things are to be understood only when we seriously, increasingly, ever seriously follow the sadhu and sadhu's instructions. See, that is the point here. I was being compelled to become sincere enough and pure enough to hear the Guru in the heart. Although I thought and thought, prayed and prayed, still no answer came. Where does Prabhupada want me to serve? Finally, I decided to trick Sri Prabhupada into revealing me his desire. Sitting before him in his room in Calcutta, I ventured that I had decided to go to Bombay. Prabhupada's response was non-committal. That's all right. His face was inscrutable. But then again, the preaching potential in Madras is very good. I continued hoping that either by word or gesture or facial expression Prabhupada would indicate his approval, disapproval. But again he simply replied, that's all right. But then again I said, I was thinking of staying in Calcutta, that's all right. How could I try to trick Sri Prabhupada? I felt so ashamed, trying to cheat my spiritual master, but I also felt exhilarated. My spiritual master was so great and perfect that he could not be tricked. Sri Prabhupada left Calcutta for Bombay. As I was preaching and making life members in Calcutta, and training Madhavananda, I thought, well, if I go back to Madras, I can preach on my own. But if I stay in Calcutta, I can help teach others to preach also. That was better. So I crossed Madras off the list. After many days of thought and prayer, the answer finally came. I should go to Bombay. The most important program in India was life membership. So Prabhupada had written, if you all get me at least 2 life members daily anywhere in India, I shall do the rest. And he was pleased that I was making so many live members. But the live members were up in arms against us because we did not give them everything we promised. I reason, yes, we are making live members, but are we taking care of them? If we take nice care of them, they will be so pleased. They themselves will make more members. But if we neglect them, they will feel cheated and speak ill of us. Then even when we ourselves approach people, they will not agree. I felt I should go to Bombay and organize live membership on all India basis. So I wrote Sir Prabhupada my conclusion. Since Bombay has the most live members and is our head office, I should come and take care of the live members, membership secretary, as membership secretary. And Sri Prabhupada seemed pleased and immediately sent a message. Come Bombay, immediately letter follows. So this is the main thing. So, because this weakness causes at every step of the way one needs association of sadhu and guidance of sadhu. Other than Sri Prabhupada and spiritual master, one need to be in the association of sadhus and hearing more and more, so that then we can make proper. Otherwise, this the enjoyment spirit, the independent spirit will keep on going. As Sukadeva Goswami himself did that. to associate with spiritual master, his father, as in the verse 1, 7, 11, Canto 1, chapter 7, verse number 11, son of Drona punished. In that, Prabhupada calls this particular verse as the material madness to spiritual, transporting material madness into spiritual madness. Quoting Sukadeva Goswami's own position, how he became from Brahman realized impersonalist has come to personalist. How? By taking the association of Vyasadeva, by hearing, by submissively giving oral reception to hear and follow. There the words are clearly mentioned. Akshipta. Harer gunakshipta matir Bhagavan Badarayani Adyagat Mahat Akyanam Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. So that Kshipta Prabhupada translates as madness, material madness. Sukadeva Goswami, son of Vyasadeva, was not only transcendentally powerful, he was also very dear to the devotees. So thus he underwent study of this great narration, Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why he studied, because by the association of Vyasadeva's disciples, he could understand and he studied. When he studied, then he became from impersonalist, he became personalist. So that's it. Both are needed. So association of sadhu very much needed. So preventive and cure. Even when we are sick, when the wood is dry, then it can light up. But when we become sick, materially weak, spiritually weak, when the dry wood is dry, that means then it can light. Fire can go on. So that means when we are strong, when we are not so overeating or overindulging in sinful activities, then we are like a dry wood. Then this no more weakness can burn. So we have to preventive measures. Like Ayurveda is called more of a preventive measure. Allopathy is a direct cure. When there are already serious problems there, you have to use allopathy. Ayurveda takes long time. So preventively, one can do hygienic things so that we don't overeat, and we exercise, and all these things are preventive. And then, so the same way, for mental and spiritual strength, one needs a sadhu's association always constantly. So Sukadeva Goswami has understood, and he associated, he studied deeply from Vyasadeva. And so that's why he became personalist. He transcended. Hare Gunakshipta Matir Bhagavan Badarayani. Sukadeva Goswami. Adyagat Mahadakyanam. He studied Adyagat under the guidance of Vishnu Jana, Vyasadeva himself. Then that's how he became very dear to the Vaishnavas, very dear to the Lord's devotees. And they also became very dear to him. So that is the point is been explained here as well. So that's a Bhagavatam explains. Yasyam vai sruyamananam Krishne parama purushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsa soka moha bhayavaha. So all the weakness will go away simply as per the hearing process is the topmost. As in the first verse we read earlier, 5th canto 11th chapter verse we read earlier, how one is in the deep sleep state. Even in then, the hearing is the one which one can. Hearing is ear is the only one which works. So that's the importance of the hearing is mentioned. So So ultimate results of devotion is to develop genuine love, but it can only happen by this as per with hearing. Loving devotion service of the Lord begins with hearing about the Lord, and by this hearing, naturally, this transcendental sound of chanting and transcendental sound about the Supreme Lord of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, the process of the vibration of transcendental sound, because so effective that it once removes all material affections, material weaknesses, material inabilities, attachments, all those things will automatically remove. And then one will be transcended to the Samadhi, from Sravana Dasya to Varana Dasya, increasingly, and the Varana to Sampatti and Samadhi stage, naturally will come to the, he'll go back home, back to it, he will become fearless automatically. So that's it. Simply by hearing the Vedic led Srimad Bhagavatam, one can have a direct connection with Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thereby, one can attain the highest perfection of life by transcending worldly miseries, illusion, fearfulness. These are the practical tests for one who has actually given a submissive hearing to the readings of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is today's sum and substance is taking shelter of book Bhagavata, person Bhagavata, more so person Bhagavata, so sadhu, so that we can understand book Bhagavata, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Supreme Lord. And then we can come out of this weakness and stay healthy and stay strong. So, and then we subcharge with love, affection, and happiness and thrill. So with that, we'll stop here. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.